If I had to guess, Nick Saban is going to want to see how the 2024 season goes for his Alabama Crimson Tide before he signs off on a 9-game schedule in the SEC. Let's check it out.
Let's go!
Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football. Well, I had a couple of requests after doing the Oklahoma/Texas schedules, breaking them down and comparing them headed into their first season in the SEC. I had some requests from the audience to go ahead and break down the rest of them, kind of ranking them as we go along. What we'll do is go ahead and hit each team one by one, do a quick video on each of them, and kind of compare and contrast at the end of it here over the next few days. I'm going to try to knock out this one and probably one or two more today. We obviously have our live stream tonight at 8:30 Eastern time as well. So however many we get today, we'll probably do that many or more tomorrow as well. But jumping in first, we want to take a look at the now defending SEC champion Alabama Crimson Tide in Nick Saban's, hopefully, for Nick Saban, he's looking at trying to get through and win his 8th national championship as the college football playoff gets underway on January 1st. We'll see how it all goes. But I tell you, this schedule isn't as easy as he would probably like to see it, being the defending champion, because he's got some tough games, including opening the season with a rematch of the SEC title game against the then 12-0 Georgia Bulldogs. The Crimson Tide definitely have, a pretty tough schedule if you kind of take a look at it. Obviously, the first 3 games of the season being out of conference, you do have one that could prove to be, competitive at the very least, I would say, on going on the road to Camp Randall at Wisconsin. They do have a bye week after those first 3 games, though, headed into that rematch with the Georgia Bulldogs, a rematch of course, the 2023 SEC championship game. They also have a road game right after that on the road at Vanderbilt that went 0-8 in conference play in 2023. They then go back to Tuscaloosa to take on the South Carolina Gamecocks, who are, very busy in the transfer portal and look to be definitely improving their team from a squad that went 5-7 this past season. You have a tough game on the road at Tennessee, which is obviously a rivalry game for the Crimson Tide. They also get a home game against a Missouri squad that went 10-2 this season and returned most of their starters from last season, plus a pretty healthy recruiting class as well. They'll get another bye week before games on the road at LSU. Your typical end of the year cupcake, Mercer, will come to town before Alabama goes on the road on November 23rd to take on SEC newcomer Oklahoma, a team that went 10-2 in its final season in Big 12 play in 2023. And then finally, they close out the regular season on November 30th with the Iron Bowl, hosting Hugh Freeze in his second season at Auburn. Pretty tough schedule, as you can see. Let's kind of break it down a little bit further. Now, as I said, head coach Nick Saban probably isn't in a huge hurry for the SEC to go to that 9-game schedule that's been proposed for the past couple of seasons that would see you have um, 6 conference opponents, and three of which are protected rivals each season. Again, as I said, Bama opens their conference play by hosting Kirby Smart and Georgia in a rematch of this year's SEC title game, won by Alabama. And they face quite a road gauntlet overall, with rival Tennessee, who is 8-4 this season, and their new quarterback, Nico Lamalieva, who by all accounts can throw the ball quite a bit better than Milton was able to this season. Now, one of the good things about that you saw from Tennessee and Josh Heupel, with a quarterback that wasn't great as far as accuracy was concerned throwing the ball, they became a real power run team. Even in an offense that you've grown accustomed to, of course, being an air raid, attack. They are big in the trenches. You could definitely see Tennessee giving them a run for their money. They also have a road game in Death Valley to face LSU, who went 9-3 this season and had the Heisman Trophy winner in Jaden Daniels, who Alabama knocked out in the third quarter of their win in Tuscaloosa this season. And then, of course, they are on the road the second to last weekend of the year at Oklahoma, who went 10-2 this year. And then they will play host to a Missouri team that was also 10-2, as well as those Auburn Tigers in the Iron Bowl in Hugh Freeze's second season. As you can see here, opposition's winning percentage conference-wise in 2023. Overall, they went 37-28 in conference games in 2023. That's a winning percentage of 56.9%. Conference opponents had a combined overall record for their entire season of 62-34 in 2023. That's 64.5% were wins. So this is definitely a schedule that is going to rank pretty high up there in strength of schedule, considering, if you figure that these teams are going to be at least similar to what they were in 2023. As I said, Missouri is going to bring back most of their 10-2 team, although Missouri is going to face a bit harder of a schedule than you saw them. Tennessee would also be a pretty solid opponent, and you would a team that you would expect that it's got some good pieces coming back. Expectations on Nico Lamalieva is that he will be a better quarterback than was Milton this past season. You would expect Auburn to be a bit better as well. Oklahoma, although in its first season in the SEC, has a 5-star quarterback that, if he is able to pick up where Dylan Gabriel left off in 2023, Oklahoma is going to be a tough out on the road. As we know, the SEC, it's a tough place. Anywhere you go on the road is a tough place to play. And Bama got some of the toughest road games that you could get. I would definitely put this schedule as one of the tougher ones, judging by what the teams that they play against did just this season in 2023. It's going to rank up in the top probably 3 or 4 schedules as far as difficulty is concerned. But I'll give you my predictions for this 2024 season schedule for Alabama. I don't really see them having a whole lot of trouble with any of the first 3 games, including at Camp Randall in Wisconsin. I think that Luke Fickell is going to get that program turned around. I'm not sure that it's going to happen in year 2 there. I think they're going to go into that bye week preceding the Georgia game undefeated. I also believe that it's going to probably be a toss-up in Tuscaloosa with Georgia. That being said, I believe that Nick Saban is 6 or 7-1 all time against Kirby Smart and Georgia since he took over there in Athens. So I would pick right now, I would definitely pick the Georgia Bulldogs to probably lose that one. And Alabama ends up at 4-0 there. If they get to 4-0, they're for sure going to be 5-0 going on the road at Vanderbilt, who this season was 0-8 in conference play. South Carolina has definitely improved through the portal, it looks like, as far as talent's concerned. I tend to think that it's not going to be quite enough, particularly in Tuscaloosa. So that puts them at 6-0 on the season, heading into their next rivalry game in that third week in October against the Tennessee Vols in Knoxville. In 2023, I tend to believe they'll win that game anyway, and we're going to see how really good Missouri is this season. We'll kind of get into their schedule here a little bit later, but I think they could fall back to earth a little bit. They didn't have a bye week before going on the road. This is definitely a tough place to go win. LSU sports about a 75% win percentage in Death Valley all time. I tend to believe that, and they beat Alabama the last time they got them at home as well in Brian Kelly's first year as coach. Another toss-up there. Those two toss-ups together, you could probably figure they split those two road games at Tennessee and at LSU. They will have that cupcake game against Mercer on November 16th and then go on the road to face SEC newcomer Oklahoma in the Palace in Norman. As an Oklahoma fan, I would like to believe that the Sooners can kind of find a way to pull that out. I tend to believe Oklahoma probably has a floor of 8-4, 9-3 in their first season in the SEC. Probably another toss-up there. And then the Auburn game at home. Anything can happen in a rivalry game, but getting them at home, I suspect that Alabama probably wins that one. Overall, their floor for me probably be around 9-3. I could definitely see them getting as good as 11-1 on the season. I tend to believe they're going to drop one, though, somewhere along the way. Again, this is probably one of the top 4 or 5 toughest schedules in the league, according is how I feel about it. And of course, if you look at the winning percentages of their opponents, overall win percentage of 64.5%, conference win percentage of almost 57% in 2023. So it's certainly not an easy schedule. And coming off of a SEC championship and trip to the playoff, possibly his 8th national championship, I think two losses could be a bit much, but I think that, I would say that their bottom would be around 9-3. I think they're going to probably be closer to like 11-1. I wouldn't say 12-0, but probably 11-1, and probably being able to go back to Atlanta and defend their conference championship, wouldn't surprise me at all. But you guys let me know what you think. Jump in the comments, let us know. Hey, if you're not already a subscriber to the channel, we'd love to have you be a part of our amazing community. We are 80 subs away from 3,000. We've done that in just a little over a year. So it'd be great to go ahead and get to that 3,000 number before Christmas. If we could, be a great Christmas present from me. But hey, also, jump in there. Hit that like button, hit the dislike button if you want to, but it definitely helps us out a lot if you just do that as well. Yeah, again, we will be doing a few more of these after the request of, some of my audience members to break down all of them and kind of rank them all at the end. That's what we'll do. Right now, I would tell you this is one of the top 3 or 4 toughest schedules in the SEC for 2024. But as we get down to the end, we'll kind of see where it shakes out in comparison to the rest of the league. Let me know what you think, and we will see you on the next one.